You ever had this problem before? Snowmobile sits all summer, doesn't start. Well, chances are your carburetors are dirty. And today I'm going to do a demonstration of how to clean your carburetors, so hopefully your snowmobile can get started again. It's one of the main problems when your sled sits over time is the fuel inside the carburetors and the jets will clog up because the ethanol nowadays will break down over time and it gets this glumpy chunks into it and it'll jam up your jets and your carburetor so the gasoline can't flow through properly, and that's probably one of the reasons here why the snowmobile won't start today. So some of the things you have to do to get your carburetors out of the snowmobile is, the main thing here, you got your air box, you're going to want to take that out. So we'll be doing that. Air filter, you're going to have all your electrical wires, you got to unplug them, take them out of the way so you can access to the carburetors easier. Got your spark plug wires, you're going to take all that stuff out. Unscrew everything here. You got your throttle cable, it's going to have to come out of the carburetors so you can take those out. Got your choke cable that are also connected to the carburetors, those are going to have to come out. And then you got some clamps that are hooked up your carburetors to the airbox. You have to loosen all those. You got to loosen the clamps over here on the cylinders, and then just be able to pull your carburetors out, and then you can get to cleaning them. So that's the main thing we're going to do here today, is try to get those out. And then some of the tools you might need for taking all this stuff out is just your standard Phillips screwdriver. You got one of those here. You need a flat screwdriver. Got some pliers, needle nose. You need all that stuff. Got your socketing wrench, your open end box end wrenches. We got 10 millimeters for the bolts we're going to take out today. And we got some rags because it's going to be messy with all the gasoline coming out when you get carburetors out. So I just so happened to find Dad's old t-shirt here. Hopefully he doesn't mind, it's a little dirty after previous cleanings. And then also, for cleaning your carburetors, you're going to need some carburetor cleaner. I got some Evinrude Johnson. It's good cleaner, kind of expensive, so we won't use too much of that. And then we got some brake cleaner for just giving the carburetors a good cleaning all the way down, so we'll completely spray them so they get clean. And then I got just some bottles, glass bottles here to put the carburetor cleaner in. And then with the small jets, which have the little intake holes in them, where the gasoline will go and the ethanol, which mainly clogs up, we'll just set them in here. They'll soak overnight in the carburetor cleaner, and hopefully all that gummed up stuff inside will get dislodged out, and we'll be able to put the jets back into the carburetor and they'll be clean and start up again. So that's just some of the main stuff we're going to need for taking the snowmobile apart and getting your carburetors clean. So I'm going to start taking this apart here now. Get my hands a little dirty. Alright, now we just got a couple more screws to loosen up to get the carburetor out of the machine here, and then we'll start taking the carburetor apart and start the cleaning process of that. So we just got these clamps here. Just going to loosen these up. Got this last one over here too. Alright, now the clamp should be loose, so the carburetor should be able to come out just easy with a little pull on it here. Just kind of tilt it up. Comes right out, just easy as that. Now there's going to be a little bit of gasoline in there, dripping out. And then I got my rags here for all the gasoline that's inside here. As you can see, it's kind of dripping out. Now first, I'm going to take the drain bolts out here so all the gas inside the bowls will come out. So we'll just grab my wrench here and loosen that up. See here. Got both sides of the bowls here. The gas is held. Got my carburetors. Okay, those are nice and loose. All the gas should be still kind of dripping out a little bit there. So then we're going to want to take, after all that's all cleaned out, I'm going to want to take these bowls off of the carburetor so that I can reach the jets inside, and then I'll be able to clean those with my carburetor fluid, and then I'll be giving this a big good spray down to clean her up. So we'll start with taking those bowls off here. Just need your Phillips screwdriver there. We'll move these gas hoses first. And then we'll start. Alright, just got the last bowl here, last screw to take out. Take this bowl out. Alright, so now that we got both the bowls out, we can start taking the jets out and begin cleaning those, which is the main process in cleaning your carbs here. So you want to take your Phillips screwdriver, and it'll, flathead screwdriver I mean, and it'll just fit right in here. And you just give it a twist. You want to be careful so you don't break anything on this jet here. And that should get loosed up. Then you should be able to take it out with your finger. Actually, before I take that all the way out, I want to make a little room here. This rag's kind of dirty and full of gas. We're going to set that aside. Both of these. So now I just got this paper towel. So now we'll just take this jet out. Alright, so now this jet comes out just easy as that. Small. This one here is the main jet. Now we got the pilot jet, which is just located right underneath there. So we'll do the same thing to get that out. Seize your flat screwdriver again. Loosen it up a little bit. You should be able to take that out. Let me get my hand in there. Kind of tricky to reach. Alright, so then there's your pilot jet, the smaller, skinnier looking one. It's got the holes in there, so set those on the side. Now I'm going to want to remember that those jets go onto the left side of my carburetor, the same one I took it out. It will go back in the same spot so that they don't get mixed up. It's good for them to stay for the same spot they got them. So now we'll start working on loosening up the other jets. Get those out. Same thing, just loosen them. Get them out with your fingers. Again, started with the main jet there. It really doesn't matter. Now we gotta do the same to the pilot jet. Down with my flat screwdriver. Loosen those up. And there, get that loose enough for you. Again, it's kind of hard to reach. Okay, got that out. Now that we got our jets out, we're going to want to clean them with the carburetor cleaner. So basically, there's these tiny holes inside the jet that you want to see. So like that's where your ethanol can get built up in those tiny holes. And then you're going to want to spray it all the way through there too. So make sure it's cleaned, that there's nothing gummed up. And then same thing for the main jet. Got just the small holes there, a little bit bigger, kind of shorter, and those will get cleaned out. Same process. So we'll just take some carburetor cleaner here, just kind of spray them out, nice and good. Put them up to the light. Make sure there's nothing else kind of gummed up in there, so you know that they're nice and clean. These ones kind of been recently cleaned, so they should be good to go. Shouldn't be that dirty. Same thing with the pilot jet. Kind of get all the holes there. And then you're going to want to take a look in the light again so you can see. You can completely see through the hole there. And then same with the little ones on the side. Nothing gummed up in there so the gas can flow through. And we can see those ones are just cleaned. So we'll just kind of, now that I know these ones are good so I don't get them mixed up again, I'll just put these ones back inside the carburetors. So pilot jet will go in there first. You're going to want to make sure you get these in there nice and snug when you're out riding. You don't want them to be coming loose on you. Let's get that one. Now we'll put on the main jet. So that cap just slides on there. Screws there. And I'll tighten those up after I get these ones all cleaned out. Same thing with these, just going to use a little carburetor cleaner to spray them out. Make sure nothing's gummed up again, use the light to look. These seem good, also they were just recently cleaned. Do the same thing with the main jet. Trying to clean this one out. See how that's all good. Seems good to me. So then we'll go ahead and put these ones back in also. Now when I'm using these carburetors, I want to be careful with these little floaters here, which they can break easy, so you always want to be careful with those when you're setting the carbs down. Alright, get down there, and I'll put the main jet back in. Alright, so now I remember I got them both in the right spot. But normally, if the carburetors are really dirty, you're going to want to put them like in these glass bottles that we have here. We'll let them in here and they'll soak overnight. And as you can see, these ones previously, they were pretty dirty. Got the nice dirt in there clumped up from all the ethanol that broke down. So those carburetors have been cleaned pretty good. You just let them sit in there and soak overnight. If you can like clearly see visually with your eye that there's some ethanol jammed up in there, you're going to want to clean it out with that stuff and let it soak for a long time. But these ones have very recently cleaned. And also at the brake cleaner, you're going to just want to completely spray down your carburetor there. You want to get the inside to make sure that nothing's all jammed up in there. And then also, same thing, get it all good. And you literally just want to spray it out, clean it all good. Get the both sides, and then here you can open up the carburetors with the, let's see, with the throttle there, and then you want to clean them out nice and good. As you can see, it's just a flap that goes up and comes back down. So you just want to make sure everything in there is good and clean. And then you'll spray through all these individual holes. Make sure it's all cleaned out. You could do the same thing with inside the jets there. Clean it all good. And then with all that's clean now, you can start to assemble it back together. So first I'm going to want to make sure I got my jets back in there tight. That one seems to be good. Should be tight. All four of them, make sure they're good to go. And then you can start putting your bowls back on. Same way, came off. Set it on there. You want to make sure that they're all lined up just right. So they'll sit on top there. Get your 4 screws to go. And then once you got this side in, you're just going to want to do the same thing to the other side. And once you know you got them a good clean down, they're all seem clean to you, no ethanol built up or dirt, anything in there. And then make sure it's all back on there tight, you got everything in there again. Then you can start to assemble it, and then clearly we still got one more bowl to put on. But then you can put it back into your machine and then put everything back together as it was, and hopefully remember how everything went. And then hopefully you can get your snowmobile up started again. So we'll start working on that. Alright, now that we got the carburetors back in the machine, just a couple finishing touch-ups here to putting everything back together. And then we'll start to see if the snowmobile run again. So here we're just putting the airbox filter back onto the airbox. As you can see, the carburetors are back in its original spot. Everything's hooked back up. Got the throttle cable back on. Got all our electrical wires hooked back up. Now we just got a couple spark plug wires left here, it seems to be. Put those back on. And then make sure I got everything hooked back up correctly, that carburetors are hooked up and tight with the clamps onto the airbox in there. Okay, it seems to be that everything put it back together all well, so we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. And then when I'm going to idle it up, I'm going to check my sheet here to see what my RPM should be at when it's idling, to make sure I know everything is running just smooth and right, that we didn't tweak anything. And here on my little chart it says it should be running at 1600 RPMs there. Just want to check that out every time to make sure you know that your sled will be running properly. So just close the hood here so we'll be able to do that. And now we're going to give it a couple pulls and see if we can get it started again. Want to make sure everything's on, got the choke on. So let's see after cleaning the carburetors if that solved my problem from the build-up it was. So we'll give it a pull here. Started up, idling about 1600 RPM, so everything seems to be running just right. Take a look at the hood, make sure nothing's loose. Alright, it's all good to go. Shut it off there, but that's just a basic demonstration on how you're going to want to clean your carburetors if you ever run into a problem. So just grab your carburetor cleaner, get a couple tools, and take your sled apart, and you should have it done in no time.